going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the close. A little bit red here across some of the indices and also, of course, across the crypto markets. Hope everyone's having a great day. And it looks like we're getting into a little bit of US 10-year spike. Did you guys see that over here? 3.96% up. In today's video, we are obviously going to be talking about everything to do with the live markets right now, including our analysis of the indices, the crypto markets, the commodities markets, and whatever else might be moving at this stage. And I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you're ready to get this week started. And I'm wondering what the chat thinks. Is this week going to be a red week? Are we going to see the bear return or green? Chat, let us know. What are we seeing? What do you guys think we're seeing? Green or red for the end of the week? All right, here we go. We've got the chat coming in. We've got red, green, red. Took action for the red today, says Jeff. Very interesting. Me want dip. Says somebody. Does that mean you're hungry? Or does that mean you want a bit of a cheaper price? All right, so let's have a quick look here at the US 500 to get started. We've got an interesting zone. So obviously it's bounced, and this is important. Like we had that declining point. We saw it sell off. We saw it then rally through the Friday session, and it's been relatively fairly stable. It hasn't moved that much. But notice this point. Notice this 40... 46.84. For whatever reason, we've got support, resistance, support, resistance. So coming into the close, we've actually gotten underneath this zone. We've gone as low as 46.73, and we're at resistance coming into the close here. So we've got about 26 minutes to go. We'll see how it reacts. This is technically a little bit of resistance. So will the bears in the hour of power, the last 26 minutes of the hour of power, push this thing down? This is going to be actually fairly pivotal. I'd like to see the sell into the close here. If we're going to see bearishness, we need a sell into the close. You guys can see the zone. Very important that they do that. Let's move over to the US 100. Very similar scenario. Went down a little bit during the session. Obviously has then picked back up. This is the time that if they're going to do it, they'll want to sell it off right now, I would feel. IWM, let's move over to that. So IWM being the weakest sector today, or weakest index. I don't think that's necessarily a huge surprise. Basically, we do think IWM is one of the more, I guess, capable indices of giving us great gains. But again, weakness will hit IWM pretty poorly. So we're watching this zone here, which is the 234 area. And it's currently trading at 238 for IWM. So still a lot higher than where it could go. Remember, the biggest thing with the SPX right now, guys, is going to be, or SP, is going to be if we breach underneath this zone. So don't think the 20 holds if we breach. Say we come down here, let's give a candle scenario. And the candle won't look squiggly like that. It's not Mr. Squiggle, but there we go. Anyone remember Mr. Squiggle? Is that an Australian thing? I don't know. Mr. Squiggle was pretty creepy. It's like upside down or something like that. Most of you guys probably don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Mr. Squiggle, he used to draw. It was like a children's show back when I was young. So here we go. We've got the downward slope. Then we've got up. Then, of course, we've got the change of trend. What is this? It's the peak. It's the trough. It's the lower peak. And then we've got the lower trough. So just remember, if we do this sequence now coming into the 20, it's not like a traditional bam. We slam straight into the 20, we bounce. At this stage, if we get back down to this zone, and especially if it's a closure into this zone, things aren't looking so good. They're not looking so peachy. And we could move down to the 450 quite a lot. Aussie Cobber 71 says, I remember. There we go. Only in Australia, his nose was a pen, says Marvin the Martian. Yeah, Mr. Squiggle. Oh, my goodness. Now, Bradley B says, Facebook broke out of inverse head and shoulders. Well, let's have a look at that. Let's get started with some Facebook. Meta platforms. Meta platforms. We're not allowed to call it Facebook anymore. That's illegal. Yes, it did. but then it came back straight back in. So it had a breakout and it's come back in. It's a good spot though. It's a very nice trade. So let's just quickly get rid of that. You guys can probably see it. This will be showing on the 4 hour as well, even better. So this is probably where I'm waiting for that confirmation close. A great spot. Facebook should be on the radar due to this left shoulder, head, right shoulder. You've done well here, Brad. I think you've come far to spot these correctly. That is absolutely an inverse head and shoulders, and well done. And Brad's been a member of the community for a little while in the private community, and I think he's come great steps at being able to find great patterns. You're absolutely correct. Facebook, huge neckline here. Left shoulder, right shoulder. It's got the tendencies of what we like in right shoulders, which is, of course, the right shoulder to be higher. And the reason we like the right shoulder to be higher is because it shows bullish intentions of the market. It shows that there is some buyers here, and they couldn't wait to get it back down to this support. They went, no, we're going to buy it early and we're going to push it up. So the metaverse is actually looking quite strong. But again, closure has not happened yet. You've got that 200 on the 4 hour. You've got that neckline here showing. Now, you also could draw the neckline like this and then say it's broken through. So because there's two ways of looking at it, it's one of those ones where what do? We practice the concept of scaling. Concept of scaling is very powerful because we can use both together. As in, we can always say, okay, we believe that it's confirmed. We've got two options here for what we think could be happening with the inverse head and shoulders. And when we have two options, you might as well practice proper risk management. So it's very interesting. Decent close here on the 4 hour, but again, into the high resistance. And the daily, if you're looking at it from that perspective, is broken through. Gains to be had. Let's have a little think about it. So movement here up to the top is about 9.63. Let's have a look what the actual range of Facebook is saying. Take the range here. Boom. Right into the top. So I like that. I love things that proof. I love that kind of concept. Very good. Very, very good. Can you do QQQ? Yeah, I guess I'll just switch between QQQ and Nasdaq for you guys. I mean, they're obviously the same thing, so it really makes no difference. I'm not sure why everyone likes. I mean, I know you trade the QQQ in America because it's the ETF, but just remember it's technically better doing the Nasdaq analysis just because you get the cleaner numbers. And when you're talking about psychological points, the Nasdaq, as in the actual NAS itself, NDX is the code on TradingView, it'll actually give you the psychological numbers. The problem with the QQQ is while trading is totally fine, in comparison, you're not going to get necessarily the same psychological numbers. So here you do get a 400, but the NAS is the one I would usually use. That goes to the round numbers. That goes to the 100 itself. What you're looking for here to see weakness is actually a break under 392. So you're going to see a break and close into 392 on the 15-minute, and that will begin a smaller peak, trough, lower peak, lower trough scenario. And that actually will break the sequence that we've got right now, which is a lightning bolt to the upside on the small time frames. Remember, we want to see weakness at this point. We are seeing finally a little bit of sell-off here. As we started the stream here, we saw that, bam, right at the resistance. There's another couple of points down. Let's see if they keep going. This is where they've got to do it. I smell it. I smell the chum in the water. The question is, does Jaws come? Is CRISPR and free fall? Yeah, so the CRISPR stock certainly... Oh, wow. What the hell? I'm just SPLK. Well, that sucks. Oh, so I guess they gave a profit warning. Well, does anyone know what happened there? That sucks. CRISPR, yeah, this one here, it's the technology problem. So I don't know if CRISPR in actual the lead anymore. The problem is that Beam seems to have taken over a lot, and these genomics are all getting attacked today. Let's have a look at IBB here for a second. Biotech, changing CEO, changing CEO on SPLK. Wow, that's terrible. Lame. Could be an opportunity, but still lame. I wonder why. I have to look at that a little bit later. Why he left. That's the thing. Dangers of stocks in general when people leave, or you've got unnatural kind of like, maybe it's a good manager or what the market likes. Or imagine if you lost Elon. My goodness, can you imagine? But a lot of people said that about Steve Jobs, and in the end, the one thing that happened was because he'd already kind of groomed Tim Cook for it, and they knew, the market digested it a lot better, even though it was a very sad event. So this is not great for IBB. IBB breaks back down here as a sector in general. So yes, I do think that this is negative towards the genomic space. We might even see biotech actually move down to that 145 again. That's actually a pretty negative breakdown at this point today. And that means that all of these Edit, ArcG, all of these funds are looking much unhealthier. I don't look at these as trades. And I've talked a lot about the fact that these are very, very, very wild. And in fact, my main thought process here is actually 2022, 2023 before they get fired up. This is just general, because I think that healthcare and biotech are more of a mid-cycle within the cycle, and that's the years that they come through. 2021 is always going to be very early for these. So if you're picking them up, you're only picking them up with the idea of holding them multi-years. Multi-years is the way I look at it. We've got David Narden, $5 question. Thank you very much, David. Question: Facebook looks good to scale in, but if we believe the index and SPY will come down, would we still take the Facebook trade or wait? Well, that's why you could take the scale. You never know. I mean, if you think that Nasdaq and the S&P 500 are coming down, then you wouldn't take the trade, would you? But the problem here is, and this is always going to be your issue, is it's a think versus a TA on the other one. So the other one's showing you a TA that you would say is positive, okay? And it's confirming. The Nasdaq and the S&P 500 is not confirming. We think that there's a possibility of decline. Now, thinking is not confirming. Thinking is different. So this is the issue that you're going to face a lot of times in your life. And sometimes you'll be correct. And you've also got to think about your Facebook trade as, okay, so say you want that. How long are you going to be in it for? Where's your stop loss going to be? Are you going to freak out if it's down for 2 or 3 days or even a week and then it returns? And if your answer is yes to all of those things, that you're going to freak out and things aren't looking and all of that stuff, then maybe you're better off not taking it. But in general, I like to go with the TA that we see and that we actually see confirming. And that makes it a little bit better. But if the market does pull back, you've got to expect that Facebook trade to decline with it. That's just the reality. Thank you very much, David. Appreciate that. All right, let's scroll through a couple of ones here. We've got Ray Lim saying, how's Amazon? Amazon is up 0.54%. Not great, though, still for it. We really want to clean this zone correctly. I mean, we do like Amazon at the moment. That's fantastic. We do not like this type of candle. I mean, it's not ideal. We've gone back up to around the 3,600 level and then rejected that zone due to the weakness in the market today. It's still up 0.51%, but I'd prefer to close 35, 33 with a better closure. Scroll through all these stocks. I mean, SPLK obviously is the elephant in the room here today, down 18% on a CEO change. That may be short-lived. Depends what's coming through. I'd have to have a read of that one. DKNG continues its free fall, unfortunately. So this is very bad closure here for DKNG. It seems like the market's really starting to pick up on what market capitalization is versus the revenue. So this actually, while this looks terrible, and it certainly is, and the stock looks like it's going to continue to come down, this stock was always very, very, I guess you would say, speculative. It's a good company, but it has some problems in it. And the price was speculative. I think people always got carried away with that. So it looks like it's returning back to where it was. It's now had over a year in the market since it's been come on, and it's run a lot, and it seems to be coming into a serious decline. I mean, let's take a look at that weekly here. The weekly is closed underneath the key 42 zone. Now we could free fall all the way to 35, unfortunately. Right there is the next zone that will be most likely where the buyers are finding control of the market here. David says, thanks you, makes sense. Yeah, no worries. And we had a late super chat coming in from, I think, the last week's session. I'll just do it now. Canadian Solar. Let's quickly look at this. This was from Rob Lee. Says that double bottom. We did do this one. We're at the trend line. So don't worry. We did do this one. Downtrend. Double bottom is in play. But of course, we had that resistance coming through here. So have a quick look at Tesla. I heard something about Elon said something, or Elon's done something again. Is that correct, guys? So we're putting pressure on that 1,000 barrier, acting like a little bit of a issue for the markets where the buyers are. But I could see, even a continued decline here down to the 900 again. Unfortunately, when Elon sold and all the CEOs started selling as well, that was not the best news that a hodler of this could see for the short period. And the bulls will not come back into the market fully until they close back above these levels. So probably that 1,080 to 1,100 zone, you're looking for a closure above that, creating a double bottom pattern, and then bam. 1,000 is a zone of day trade because it's a psychological area. And we saw it bounce once before. That was because there was a lot of puts there as well. Those puts got removed, and now we're going to have a little bit of a struggle. What about Crowd? Yeah, Crowd's a good one. So let's have a quick look at CrowdStrike. So let's go to the daily. So Crowd's another one that's declined fairly heavily today, down 11%. How much is net down? Let me have a look here. Net. So net's actually up 1.05%. So Crowd was the darling of the market. And we have earnings here. It's had a small, minuscule kind of like scaled breakout. There it is. And then it's just gone bam, straight down. Has anyone got the news on this one? Let us know. We'll talk about it in a second. Gary Saini, $4.99. Hey, Tom, gold is showing long-term cup and handle on the weekly. Is safe money signaling something? Well, you'd say that across the board. I mean, we've basically got some big issues we need to discuss coming into the close. I mean, we are 11 minutes here. I want to talk about the US 10-year as well. Gold is increasing. It's got a seasonal on it this time. We've got US 10-year really coming through. We've got DXY bulling up into the sun. So that's a big one. For Crowd, by the way, you're looking around that 236. And that's where you've got the previous 200. Do remember earnings coming up in 16 days on this one. So Gary is wondering about gold. Let's have a look at the DXY to start off with. So the DXY, is this signaling something as well? I mean, wow. This is signaling that we could be getting a rate rise. We could be getting all sorts of things because it's coming through very, very hard. DXY improving here on the day, 0.45%. And a lot of you will say, well, that's not that much. In dollar language, that's a lot. So the dollar is really signaling strength. And we've been talking about this for months. We've been talking about the 97 for a very, very long time. And it looks like it's really going for it. While there will be pullbacks across the way, I find it hard to believe that a weekly closure on the DXY will not continue to push. This is not a joke. We said that when it happened. It wasn't a joke. It takes time, and it looks like it's ready to tangle. So very, very nice. Let's move to gold. So you're saying it's cup and handle here. I'm not really a big fan of the cup and handle style patterns. I don't really go with that, I guess. But the way I go with it is, yes, we do have very nice resistances coming up. So we've just hit the first kind of little milestone area, which is, of course, the closure over here, becoming the resistance. If gold can break through this and breach, then the next stop is going to be about 1910. And if it breaches past that, most likely in 1960. So if you actually scroll out, you've got some really big gains. We've also talked about the Decembers. Remember, November into December, bullish for gold. November into December, bullish for gold. This is every year. Bullish. We're moving faster and harder at the back of November, so the middle to the back. But either way, this is a very, very significant level. Let's have a look at the 4-hour here. So we have a series of higher lows coming through. If we notice 20 moving average, 20 moving average, 20 moving average, very nice. Some people would call this an ascending triangle at this point, and they're waiting for that breach of 1870. So for gold traders, 1870 closure out is going to be very significant, and any closure below this 20 moving average I think actually pushes us back down to the 1832 area. So remember, close below, ascending triangles go both ways. If you close underneath, you get a significant move. If you close above, you get a significant move. So I feel like gold's at the precipice of going long based on this current analysis, but we get underneath that 20, expect the 50 to be the next area. AMC is strong today. AMC trading at 6.95. Yeah, it's bounced off the 30-80 zone again. It's strong, but it's at resistance coming into the close. 10 on ETF. Let's have a look at 10 ETF. That's the solar ETF. Still looks very good. It will pull back with the rest of the market if it does go down. And we could see continued decline here into the close, 0.18% into the close here. So we've got 7 minutes till that happens, 0.19 now. 10 ETF, I still have bullish intentions for. Multi-month. Smash the like, bro, says Lucian. Appreciate that one. We've looked at QQQ a few times, so don't worry. Is PayPal turning around? Yes, we're getting that a lot. Yeah, PayPal is trying its best. It's kind of almost value-rific down here, but turnaround stories are not easy to pick when you don't have many days of trade. So we obviously had the earnings. We're in the middle of 200 land. We've got a 180 support as well. If we go to the 2 hour, what do we got going on? Kenny Andrade says thank you. No worries, Kenny. That's cool. It's very tough. Guess I would say that has been holding it for so far. Not enough price action on PayPal at this stage, but if you were trading just on the hour, I could see why you might have gone long. I like to trade on a bigger time frame to see a turnaround story, and I don't really think PayPal's been very technical. I mean, we talked about it was technical under the break here. But we talked about this one over here, the little flag that was here didn't really work. And then there was a nice double bottom play that got stuffed by earnings and them trying to buy pins. So, yeah, PayPal just floating around in the middle of nowhere land. In comparison, if you look at Square, which is obviously one of its competitors, at least Square's come off support, sold off resistance, done all those types of things. Hello, Tom. NEGG has started to ramp. Huge move a year ago. Do you think that this has a pump and dump look? I'll have a look at the stock and we'll just see whether it has a pump and dump look. Oh, this is the Newegg. Yeah, that was certainly a pump and dump. Well, if it's up 21% and it's been up before, then yes, it has that pump and dump. But it would be pump and dump. It's not. It's a good company, actually. I quite like Newegg, but it's worth what it's worth. You know, it's not a hard company to probably figure out how much they're going to be worth. I forgot how far this one went. And that pushed it through a lot a few weeks ago where that happened. So that happened like a week ago, I guess. And then we've got some nice price action coming into this event. When you think about what's the price action telling us? Buying, indecision, decision made. So if you believe that all these squeezes are back on, this would be one of them. Obviously incredibly risky. You're going to be talking 20, 30, 40%. I mean, I always think of these as you're basically gambling. You're obviously making a more informed decision and you get to make the decision, which is the difference. But they are a portion of gambling because you know that in the future, it may not be worth this much money, but you're hoping for this. Similar to some cryptos. Top gold discussions from FXE. I'm in. Good luck, Monica. Thank you for the support there. All right. Let's scroll through a few more stocks. We've got 3 minutes coming to the close. We do have a little bit of decline here coming through in the hour of power from the US 500, US 100. We'll take a look at that in just a second. We'll put them side by side. So we'll go through some more stocks. So BA, oh, that's actually a breakout for BA. Okay, so Boeing here breaking out. First time we've seen. That's a proper breakout. We had that recovery, which looked at like here. It then scrolled back down, and that is actually a breakout on Boeing coming into the close. Been waiting for this for a while. I'll show you the weekly so you can see. Some people may want to wait for the weekly to hold up. There's a lot of runway, a lot of runway for Boeing. If you get what I'm saying. And you do have a nice base. Earnings is over. That's not happening until 72 days away, which is nice. And you've got a very, very nice first recovery session. I like it. Mark Wilkins says BA looks weak, looks like a launch pad for more. Yes. Launch pad, I like that one too. Maybe runway is good too. 260 first target, 240 also a small contention zone. So that's not too bad when we scroll through them. What else have we got? We got anything else? What's BMY? Why do we have BMY? BMY is actually not a bad base. It's okay, but I don't know much about this stock. Get rid of some of these. That was a great one that was brought to us by the community a little while ago. It's hit its resistance now, ADSK. TTD, we've been watching that for a while. Obviously, that's flying high. If you're in this kind of stock, you've got to just keep following the general gist, and that is that, 127, it's been up, multiple percentage points over the last couple of weeks. You've got to use a moving average and follow it as much as possible. Hyatt hit the resistance, and now it's selling off, so I guess that's done. J&J. Now, I still believe in this trade, but this whole thing they did on Friday seemed to push it up and then push it down. Very slow. Needs to close really bad above 166. Continues to fail. And John Deere, remember, this is one that we watched, and I don't know if their collective bargain stuff is over yet, where they're fighting with all their employees, but this actually had a very strong technical in it inside the channel. So we had that left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then we had the distance towards that 394. So that's still open. We just need them to make the deal. We've got to make the deal. Okay, let's go have a look at the S&P. So it looks like they bought the last couple of minutes. Let's take a look at it. Okay. There we go. So the bell is over. Ding, 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 ding. And we have gone green into the close. And what I mean by that is we're still red, but we've seen some buying coming straight through with commitment there going into the close. Not exactly what I was hoping for. This little level here, I would prefer that sold to the downside. It stopped right where it's going to stop. And now we'll have to wait for another day. So inconclusive, rubbish day here. Nothing to really report home about. Let's have a look what it looks like with all trade. So all trade, we've got the high, the low, the long leg doji. You shouldn't really use that candle though for your analysis. You'd rather use the SPX, and you can see that it's a trash day. And what I mean by trash day is it doesn't tell us anything. It doesn't help us with making a decision. Because when you have a day like this, what's it mean? It means nothing. It means totally neutralized, technically still in an uptrend. The close is the key. I mean, if it's going to come back up and close here, then it doesn't tell us anything about what the market wants to do. Long leg doji over here. Even here, we didn't really get a proper decision made on that candle, and then we went down. So we could still be in the scenario of this. We could even be in the scenario of grinding higher until the 20 just catches up with us there. I hope we're not in that one. I do hope we get a turn. Tuesday now is what we have to watch for. And what can you do? Was that bullish close for it? No. It was completely neutral. It finished 0.01 down. That sucks. How about Shop, Tom? Let's have a look at Shop. 1656. That previous candle was pretty big on Friday. Well, it's an all-time high for it. Obviously a big announcement or something that happened. My thought would be small pullback here, back into these highs for like a 1580. Hit the 20 around there, 1600, and then resume up after what looked like must have been good news. Crypto, please, Tom. No worries, Mohammed. We'll do that very soon. And Thomas, Vesta, DKK25, ACB, TJX, LEA, FVRR, all great contenders. We'll pick on a few of these. So we'll just have a look at them. We'll do a rapid. Aurorus Cannabis. Ugh. Cannabis stocks. Good contender from your TA, though. Yes. Why I say is because, well, we know what happens with cannabis stocks. They often burn cash. Very interesting. So not only can some people see this as an inverse head and shoulders, but you could also see it as a wyke-off with that fake kind of breakout that occurred down here. And you've got that pullback back to the 768 where you would hope there's demand. So, yeah, it's a good contender there, Thomas. Thank you for the super chat. Nothing wrong with your analysis. I'll add a few of these into the room if I like them. So I'll add them. We'll watch them through this week. So Aurora Cannabis, certainly a good zone. Take a look at the weekly. Bam, bam, bam. That's very nice. Oh, weekly close. Wow. I like it. You can see the same pattern on the weekly too. So good one. Let's have a look. TJX. I assume it's this stock here. Apparel footwear company. Probably don't see any super strength here. Came off a good support, which was probably the zone. I feel like it's in the middle for TJX. Let's have a look at LEA. Okay. LEA's got a nice story. Up, down, up, down, up at this stage. 180 being a support. Should you like to pick this one up? Not too bad. Looks like it wants to go and test the highs, if not break a new all-time high based on this type of pattern. And you've got a decent little trend line behind it. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. And then FVRR. Someone says they are also in TJX. Well, TJX looks fine. It's just in the middle of the zone. So hard if you're not already in it. Good base. What's the weekly story on Fiverr? Haven't used Fiverr in a while. Kind of feel like I need to get above this because it keeps going above this zone and then not breaching to the next area. Whether that's the next area or not, I think it's actually up here. Yeah, I'd probably just look for day trade above this zone and then possibly look towards that 250, 248 area. Thank you very much, Thomas. There's some good ones there. Appreciate your support. Tom, did you discuss SPLK already? CEO departure. Yeah. Yep. I feel like it'll be short-lived, like as in like the market will recover on SPLK, but I'm not too sure. I haven't read the result, so I'm just guessing. It's around support. Very bad day for it. Very bad day. That sucks. 137, definitely not, great, but we're back on a weekly 200. We're back on that previous support. I hope to see a bounce on this through the next session. US 10 years, the elephant in the book right now. This is the elephant in the room. I mean, the elephant in the book. This is what everyone's probably going to be starting to talk about. We started mentioning it. I actually made it the thumbnail of the last video, and it's just closed above. So we've now got another potential ramp here that finally can get us to that new all-time high. Remember, new all-time high, the market will come down. I have much faith in that. So the market is ignoring inflation. The US 10-year obviously is showing that there is inflation, or that at least there is movement coming into this close. 1.8 will be the zone that we fight. And I think based on everything we've seen here, we're going to get a new high off this. What do you guys think? Where do you think inflation, this US 10-year is going? Let us know, community. Where do you think it's going? Barack says, hey, Tom, can you check out Twitter and Snap, please? I see some recovery. Yes, Twitter hit a support and Snap. We'll have a look. So US 10-year, where do you guys think it's going? I'm going to go with 1.95 to 2%, and that will put pressure on the Nasdaq if it keeps bouncing. So if you believe this thing's going up, it's going to put pressure on the Nasdaq. No worries, Thomas. That's fine. So Twitter, no turnaround story yet. It's in the zone, the beginning of the zone. My thought is Twitter actually comes down a little bit more, hits more around $50 before it goes back up. Tried to rally today and failed to do so. Aussie Cobber 71, $4 super sticker. Thank you so much, Aussie Cobber. Appreciate you there. It's very good. Thomas Vesta says he caught BA as well. Yeah, that was pretty good, that BA. That was one of the better breakouts that we've had in a while. Again, Aussie, I appreciate it. I see you in the comments a lot. So thank you so much for the $4 super sticker. And where's Burak's question here? There it is. So you want Snap as well. Snap. Snapple. Now, Snapple is doing a little bit better. This is the first signs of a recovery. We have a base. Volumes come well out of this. Then all of a sudden we get an increase in volume. We do have a base. We are trying to pick something that's not that easy to pick. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, buy the dip. You know, on the day, everyone was buying everything all the way down. And I've explained a few times that you can get lucky and make money when you're buying technology dips. But in other stocks, like a pharma stock or an energy stock or any of these types of ones, you can really get burnt very, very hard. You can get really punished by buying the dips. Just remember that. It's not through the wars yet of recovery, but I do like what I'm seeing on that 4 hour. Let's have a look at the 2 hour. Yeah, I mean, this is the first signs of the base. Great 52 support. Clearly, there's buyers there. Each time it comes down, it seems to be holding. You know where your main level is. And if it gets underneath there, then you've got problems. But at this stage, yes, it looks like Snap is starting to turn the corner. More likes from Sandollar77. Appreciate it. Thanks so much there, Sandollar. US 10-year to 2.0, says Sandollar as well. Very good. Wall Street needs to drop the markets hard. We need blood in the streets, says Gary Sayani. Yeah, look, they probably do need to drop it a little bit after what they just put on was just a heater. But the thing is that I've detailed on this stream a few times that anything can happen. As in, you can exceed some very big bubbles that go monstrous years in advance. Just go look at Japan. That was one of the craziest markets I've ever seen. Barack says, pins, you might want to see it. Do I really want to look at pins after all that disaster fest that's been happening? Nothing yet. Lightning bolt, I guess. But still on the 20. Let's go to the 4 hour. Yeah, lightning bolt, I guess, here for pins. If you're thinking it's going to recover and you like pins, then sure. A lot of people will be very burnt by this one because of the PayPal thing, which hit our resistance when it came out. That was crazy. If you weren't out of that, oh my goodness. Just shows you when you believe in a trade versus investment. Maybe you were investing in pins, then of course you're hodling anyway. But if you're trading it, you've got to be faster. Roku coming in from GBB. Let's have a look at Roku. Roku has been in decline for quite some time. It still looks declining. I mean, there's nothing here that I like still about it. You could say, but we're on the support of supports. I could also say, what about down here? I don't like this stock at this stage. I feel like the turnaround, the negative market is seriously big here. Lucid pumping after earnings. Yeah, so we just saw Lucid earnings. Let's have a look here. 4.99%. Lucid's been strong for a couple of weeks. Here's the weekly close that really pushed Lucid. Then it had that pump, and now it's got a post-market. Remember, post-market, don't get too won over by it. I can't believe this thing's back the way it was. Remember when it pumped back in January, went all the way to 63, all the way back to 18, and now it's back on. I almost wonder if it's a joke or not. Let's take a look at the earnings here for the close. So we've had Lucid just come out. We don't have too many other big ones at the moment. We've got EEG, we've got Ammo, Ideonomics. I'm not sure if any of you guys trade these. A few people trade Lucid, of course. Then tomorrow you've got Walmart. So Walmart on the Tuesday open. SEA, might have a look at that on the charts just now. And then for the close, still nothing too crazy here in the close in that session. And then we've got the big ones. Nvidia after the close. Cisco as well. Buy the rumor, sell the fact, Cisco. That seems to be always the way that one trades. And then we've got Alibaba and Baidu. So some of the Chinese companies coming out with their earnings. Will they finally turn it around? So let's have a look at a few of these coming up for the week. We've got SEA. So let's have a look at SE Limited. In a very strong stock ever since they pretty much went to the market and said we need some cash, which was over here. They have stumbled a little bit. Earnings, I think, is semi-terrifying for this stock. They've got to really, really smash it. This stock is not cheap. It's worth $188 billion. It's not a tech stock that's going out of control from the perspective of maybe like a Cloudflare or something. This is the real problematic. If they don't sell enough, if they're burning too much cash, there could be issues here. So just remember, if it starts falling, it may fall more than you think, just because I love the company. I do. I think their ads are really cool. But I do believe that their price is not cheap. It's one of the higher multiples in the market at this stage. Nvidia going to bust 300, says Chino. Nvidia. NVDA sitting on 300 exactly at this stage, coming into the earnings. So this will be where it sits, you would think. Hovers around this area. Long leg doji on the weekly here, between the high and the low. And we've got that indecision coming through as well. So very important zone here for Nvidia. 300 psychological. For a lot of people, that will be a scale off for their trading that they've done recently, where they might have taken it from 200 all the way to 300, and now they're looking for the next thing. And this has just been a phenomenal trade, hasn't it? I mean, Nvidia's now worth 750 billion. I remember just running the live streams a little while ago where it was sitting at about 250 bill, and then went to 500 bill. It's gone up $500 billion in a few months. So I'll have to justify that to the market to a degree come earnings. Blur Vision says, just found you. Not into stocks, but in love with the Insights sub. Thank you very much, Blur Vision. Appreciate that. I do appreciate all the subs as well. We got over 70,000 last week. So that was amazing. And that's thanks to you guys supporting the channel. We got 500 people here after the close. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Let's have a look at the crypto market to finish off here. Let's have a look at what we've got going on. So crypto. Bitcoin. Now, we're coming back to what I think is a pretty important area. Here it is. It's this daily 20 moving average. We keep putting pressure on. Bitcoin keeps trying to rally and then failing to rally. And it keeps coming back down to this zone, around this area here. Now, if we go back in crypto time, let's go back to the 17. We saw that weakness. Then we saw strength for the rest of the year through November. So let's say we still think that the US 500's got a bit of weakness in it. This is where we are with the crypto. I think everything's looking really good for the crypto. Even the fundamentals. When I say that, I mean like banks in Australia are now approving it. You can now invest with the biggest bank in Australia for people outside. CBA have announced that they will allow you to invest in crypto within their platform. So within their bank account platform. It's a pretty big deal when you think about that, meaning regulation is coming into a degree across many countries. So daily 20. close underneath, all the way back down to this 60K. If we get underneath 60, then of course, further decline will be had. This is where you're going to see that flash crash. If it's going to happen, it happens here. Usually most markets, before they like to go on big runs, experience the flash crash in terms of the crypto market. So let's think about all the other big runs that we've had. Flash crash, big run. Crashes down to the bottom, big run. Create some despair. Yeah, we've got to create some despair. That's what the things do. Obviously, fall, pull up, fall, flash crash, bam, right back in, fall, bam, right back in. So I think that when usually you have, is this a fall enough? Is this fall worthy of creating all-time highs? Is that a big enough fall? Let's have a look at the percentage. It's a bit weak. It's a 13% fall. Most of the time, the crypto market loves a good crash before it comes in and does a very big one. Now, that's a hunch more than anything else. If you're looking at this from the TA, you're saying, Tom, I like this 20. I think it's bouncy bounce, and it's going up. Can't disagree with you. But as a hunch, more than anything else, my personal opinion that's got nothing to do with anything else, I feel like we need a little bit of flashy crash before we move up to the next zone. Wipe out a few people. That's what they like to do. Plus, we look at all these other technicals, and nothing here exactly exudes confidence. Here's ETH weekly. While ETH has been the strongest, we have a long leg doji weekly and a start to the week with declines. We've got the low, the high, the indecision through the middle. Very far away from the weekly 20. Go down to the daily. Obviously hovering around that 20 daily. Again, the story is not looking compelling coming into this. Weakness. 20. Close underneath 20. Bad times for the crypto market. At least initially. Until we get good times again once the whales have gotten what they want. See how it keeps putting pressure on? Series of lower highs and very equal lows. This is the type of thing I look for in these markets to show the weakness is coming. And all the coins are showing this weakness. Could it turn here? Of course it could. This is the zone it's going to turn if it turns. But I wouldn't be, jumping in for joy at getting an extra $100 price discount underneath here. I'd be very much looking, okay, now we've closed under. Let's go. Let's see how fast this thing moves down. What do you guys think? Tom, look at Neo, Doog, says Adam. All right. We'll have a look at Neo. Josh Screever says, I feel the same for crypto, Tom. Yeah. Josh says, people are buying so much at this level. A lash crash is the only thing that will make people want to buy in. All right, let's do Neo. Yeah, BO, I quote. I just feel it on crypto. If I'm just floating back there a little bit. I mean, of course, I love my Bitcoins. I love my KSMs, my polka dots. I've talked about that a lot. Why is everyone going crazy about Neo? What's going on with Neo? Tell me. Is something happening that I'm not seeing? For me, nothing has changed. I do the same analysis I've done last week, which is we're waiting for a closure above this $44. And at $40, you're just basically in the middle of this chop. Moving averages have crossed up. That's the daily 20 and the 50. We have the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. We need to get above here. Get above here. Boom. Mining ETH is easy money. Oh, yeah, at the moment, it's been pretty good, especially if you've got 3080s. Why they're so expensive. Melt up on BTC coming like every other bull cycle. Yeah, I believe it's definitely coming. Thank you very much, Al Possum. Congratulations on 70K subs. I appreciate it. I like BTC a lot. I just feel like there might be one more little bit of a flashy before it comes up. So look at BTC shorts. Has that moved anywhere? No, it's been very quiet for some time. Slight increase last week and then nothing. But this is very low. Infrastructure bill just passed, says Adam. Is that a full pass or is that just the first vote? Full pass, yeah. Market doesn't seem to be reacting much to it. Probably already knew it was coming. mRNA from Thomas. Another biotech getting punished at the moment, back down to 234. I've got my zone at about 188 for Moderna. 188 previous resistance. So, yeah. Nothing here for this one just yet. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us, of course, for the close. We'll be back tomorrow. A bit of a lackluster day on the markets. Our thoughts, again, just to recap, this US 500 has done nothing for us. We end up seeing nothing. We had a suspicion that we might get a little bit of a sell-off at this level. We saw it initially into the close, and then it rallied just in the end. Someone said the infrastructure bill passed, which may be a big... No, it's not really a deal the market's going to care about that much. Over the long term, it's important, but over the short term, the market will do what it feels like. US 10-year has been the spike of the day, 1.623. If this continues to go up and we believe this technical is strong, which I think it is, I actually think this is a fairly decent closeout. Left, head, right, off the trend line. I kind of feel like the US 10-year is going up. If you believe the US 10-year is going up again, then watch out, market, because once this goes past 1.7 again, all of a sudden, all the headlines, everyone's going to be like, and we might even go all the way to 1.95. That will put pressure on the Nasdaq, pressure on the S&P, as we know that inflation concerns will actually hit the Nasdaq in particular. Thanks very much, Mohammed. Appreciate that. Congrats on 70K subs, and thank you for the live stream, Tom. No worries. Chino says Moderna at the peak was truly next level overvalued. Oh, there's a few stocks that have done that. Newegg would be the truly overvalued one when it was high. SPCE. I mean, you see it time and time again. That's why you need to be able to recognize, is this true value or is it going to be a blow off top? And it's going to be very difficult for you to figure this out throughout life. However, in general, most of them do end up being blow-off tops for at least a period. The ones that I can think of that are notable that haven't blown off, Net, Nvidia, these two, very, very strong. And of course, when Apple was on its big ramp, I mean, it ramped a lot last year. Amazon still looking hot. That's still looking one of the better kind of positions. Boeing was probably the surprise of today with the breakout. So continue to watch that stock if you're interested in it. And other than these, we've got a lot of stocks that are kind of sideways or looking for breakouts, looking for better moves. And the crypto market is, of course, at the right area, the precipice of the support resistance. Wait for the video. We'll be popping it out probably about 3-4 hours. Thanks so much for joining us, and bye for today. Catch up.